Why hello and welcome to Among the Fence, my YouTube channel where I do reviews on music and albums and EPs and singles and basically whatever. We could just chill and talk about all the things that we love or hate. And today we're going to be checking out the new EP On Death by the band Left to Suffer. And if you got anything you want me to review, go ahead and let me know what it is in the comments below and it'll be featured on Request Wednesday. And don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell icon, that way you get notified, that way you don't miss out on it, because that does happen quite frequently and people don't see the review for like months at a time, and it's pretty sad. Left to Suffer is a fairly new band from Atlanta. I think they started about like 2019. They currently have one studio album, a butt ton of singles, and now this EP. And they consider themselves to be a metalcore band, which at least that's what their Facebook page says. But I don't know. Listening to this EP, I would categorize them more into deathcore and like new metal, maybe a new deathcore metal band. And the vocalist, his name is Taylor Barber. So I did a quick Google search, not really 100% sure. Maybe if one of you guys knows for sure, go ahead and leave a comment below letting me know if it's yes or no. But I think he might be related to Tom Barber. They sound very similar, especially talent-wise, so it's not that far off, but I mean, who knows. On Death opens up with the song Events. It's got like this swirling guitar effect intro thing, and then the drums are super thick and heavy, and they stand out quite a bit on the song. And honestly, throughout the whole EP, I would say the drums are like musically the standout piece. I believe that the song is about like the loss of a friend or someone that's really close to you. It's like something happened, maybe a car accident or something along those lines, where the narrator and this other person were involved in the same kind of thing, and the narrator got out and the other person, they didn't make it, unfortunately. And the vocals are absolutely fantastic. And even though they get super duper low, there's still some really good articulation in there. The second verse is basically a breakdown with super low vocals, and then there's a second breakdown, which is pure chaos. And then the outro is a third. Yes, that's 3 breakdowns. It's a third breakdown. And it kind of catches you off guard. And believe it or not, it's actually probably the heaviest on the whole song. Event is followed by Denial, which is, I'm assuming, about the denial of this event and trying to kind of come to terms with, like, maybe it's my fault, maybe it's not, trying to understand why the narrator got out of it alive and the friend didn't. And it's just kind of like a back and forth struggle in the mind. And it's got a really groovy, pretty riff, but again, the drums just stand out the most in this song. And the verse is really cool because everything becomes really quiet. It's like a whisper, but there's like this sweepy arpeggio going on in the background. It makes you feel really, just really vulnerable. And the verse comes in with gobs of atmosphere from this kind of like whiny lead guitar sound. And the song also features Kinoshita, or Ryu. I used to remember how to say his name, but for some reason, either way how I say it now, it just sounds wrong. But it features Ryu Kinoshita, who is from Crystal Lake, an absolutely amazing vocalist. I'm not that big of a fan of Crystal Lake, but every time I hear Kinoshita featured in a different song in a different band, it just absolutely kills it. And just like the Steps of Healing, the third song is called Anger, and it's basically about this. The narrator is really pissed off about the whole situation. He's mad at people, himself, God. His emotions are at an all-time high now, and it's just all coming out. And unfortunately, it's coming out as anger. And I would say this is where the new metal influences stick out the most. There's just tons of it, and it sounds so good. It reminds me a little bit of Korn's like earlier, heavier days, but this is a lot heavier, especially when the exchange for the deathcore comes in, because then it just is heavy as balls. And the vocals also keep you guessing too, because they get really high, they get really low, and the vocal talent in this is just absolutely phenomenal. And the third verse kind of goes into overdrive a little bit, and it goes into a breakdown, which is really cool, the way how they implemented the new metal with the deathcore in the breakdown. Sounds absolutely amazing. Probably one of the best breakdowns I've heard in a very long time, especially from a deathcore band. But I would say that on Anger, the vocals are the showcase, but the drums, again, I mean, they just stand out. Stand out like the opposite of a sore thumb. After Anger comes Bargaining, which is probably my favorite song on this album because I enjoy the riff on it so much. It stands out more than some of the other songs. Again, the drums are just absolutely killer, and the vocal fries are phenomenal. Normally, I'm not that big of a fan of high vocals, especially distorted vocals. Normally, I like the low, like Alex Terrible and Bender. I just love the low growls. It just gives you goosebumps. But these vocal fries, they sound so good. And this song also features Loki Kyo. I believe that's how you say his name. I'm not really familiar with him or any of his past work. He sounds really good, but he just doesn't stand out all that much compared to the other features on this album, especially with Taylor Barber. I mean, he just, like, when he does the vocal fries in the song, you're just blown away because the rest of the album or EP so far has been just really low, and you're like, holy crap, he could do that too, and he sounds this freaking good. After bargaining and starting to realize that nothing's really gonna change, like what happened, we now run into depression, the whole kind of struggling with coming to terms and just being really, really sad about what happened and realizing that it is what it is and nothing's going to change this loss and nothing's going to make it better. You just got to go through the healing. And unfortunately, depression is part of that healing. And the syncopation in the song is super dope. And the rhythm all around is amazing. The lead guitar stands out just a little bit more. I'm not sure if it's because of the mix or just because they're playing a little bit higher up on the fretboard so the notes stand out amongst all the bassier notes that are playing. There's some clean singing in the song too, which caught me off guard, but it goes directly into some of the lowest vocals on this EP, I believe. And it's in a breakdown, and it's got this really unique diving riff in it. And it just sounds so good. There's a lot of dynamics throughout this EP, which I enjoy quite a bit. There's just a lot of variations. It's kind of progressive metal-y in a way. The final song on this EP, Death, I would say is probably the emotional peak. I feel like a lot of the songs before it, the vocalist or the narrator was a little bit more unsure, wasn't quite as confident in the emotions he was feeling, more questioning things, and felt kind of lost emotionally. And I feel like now he's more in a secure place and he feels more confident in what he's feeling and what he's saying. It's also, the peak musically is quite a bit more catchy. It's less djenty, more deathcore, more dynamic, if you want to call it that. The vocals have less breaks in the verses. Once the vocals start up, they just kind of roll with it, and then they break, and then they just roll with it some more instead of being broken up throughout the verse. It makes it hit quite a bit harder because, again, it's just up and down. They're all over the place. And again, in the outro, Tom Barber is absolutely insane. Once again, he proves why he is one of the best vocalists in the deathcore genre. Absolutely. His vocals are so low, he stands out, even next to Taylor Barber, who already has really low, amazing vocals. But Tom, he's just, he just grabs you by the throat and demands your attention once he takes up that mic. I gotta admit, I wasn't really that excited to do a review on this EP. I mean, it's like, yay, a new deathcore band, yay. But when I saw that Joshua Travis was the producer, I was like, okay, if Joshua Travis is gonna have his fingerprints on it, maybe it's worth looking into. And then I saw Taylor Barber's the vocalist. I was like, is he related to Tom Barber? So my interest was piqued quite a bit more. So I was looking forward to going into this a little bit more than when I first started. My only complaint with this EP is that the song structure could be a little bit predictable. Musically, everything there's a lot of variety going on. But the way how the song normally goes is there'll be an intro, and then a verse, and then there's a break, and then there's a vocal phrase that comes in heavy and it's growled, and then there's like a breakdown. And that's just about in every single song. And it doesn't sound bad. It isn't like there's nothing bad about it. Like I said, it just becomes kind of predictable. About the third song, you're like, wait, oh, yep, they're doing it again. And then they'll continue to do it throughout the 6 songs that are on the EP. And again, like I said, it's not really a bad thing. It's just something that continually happens that I noticed. I will say that as far as new bands go, these guys absolutely killed it. Like, when it comes to like Slaughter to Prevail, Chelsea Grin, bands like that, I feel like Left to Suffer, these guys are going to go places. As long as they keep doing what they're doing, they're going to just keep getting better and better. I also noticed that from like the music videos and just listening to them and just a little bit of stuff I was able to find on YouTube here and there from them, these guys really, really enjoy playing together, and they enjoy the influences that they bring and the ideas that they all bring, and they just enjoy making music together. And it's something that's very tangible, and you can really feel that when you listen to them. So with all that said, I got to give On Death by Left to Suffer a 4.7 out of 5. As far as like new bands go in the deathcore scene that are going for this sound or have a similar kind of sound, Left to Suffer does this really, really good, and they stand out amidst all the bands that are going for this. But I want to know what you guys think. Go ahead and leave a comment below if you've listened to On Death or even a couple of songs, and let me know what you thought and what you would rate it. And if you enjoyed this review, don't forget to give it a like. Let me know what you want me to review next. Don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell icon, that way you don't miss out on any of my future uploads, and help support my channel and just make me feel good emotionally. And I hope you guys all have a good rest of your day or night whenever you happen to be watching this, and I will talk to you guys next time.
I was trapped in ignorant kid relying on my parents said to save me. Years gone by, turning over, ignoring every day. Said to convict me, 17 at the top of my own.